Let's take a look at why teams have become so popular. Why are teams so popular? In short, because we believe they're effective. A team of people happily committed to a project and one another will outperform a brilliant individual every time. They can quickly assemble, deploy, refocus, and disband. Teams are more flexible and responsive to changing events than traditional departments or other forms of permanent groupings. They're an effective means to democratize organizations and increase employee involvement. The fact that organizations have embraced teamwork doesn't necessarily mean that teams are always effective. Team members may be swayed by fads and herd mentality that can lead them astray to the best decisions. Groups and teams are not the same thing. A work group is a group that interacts primarily to share information, make decisions, and help each group member perform within their area of responsibility. Work groups have no need or opportunity to engage in collective work with a joint effort, so the group's performance is merely the summation of each member's individual contribution. A work group is a collection of individuals doing their work, albeit with interaction and some dependency. A work team, on the other hand, generates positive synergy through coordination. The individual efforts result in a level of performance greater than the sum of the individual inputs. In both work groups and work teams, there are often behavioral expectations of members, active group dynamics, and some level of decision making. The extensive use of teams creates the potential for an organization to generate greater outputs with no increase in employee headcount. However, merely calling a group a team doesn't automatically improve its performance. Effective teams have certain common characteristics. Problem-solving teams are work groups of 5 to 12 employees who meet for a few hours each week. Their goal is to discuss ways of improving quality, efficiency, and the work environment. If their recommendations include implementation processes, great improvements can be realized. Self-managed work teams are groups of employees who perform highly related or interdependent jobs. The responsibilities usually include planning and scheduling work, assigning tasks to members, making operating decisions, taking action on problems, and working with suppliers and customers. Fully self-managed work teams even select their own members who evaluate each other's performance. When these teams are established, former supervisory positions take on decreased importance and are sometimes eliminated. Research on the effectiveness of self-managed work teams has not provided uniformly positive results. Self-managed teams may be more or less effective based on the degree to which the team-promoting behaviors are rewarded. Some research indicates that self-managed teams are not effective when there's conflict. When disputes arise, members often stop cooperating and power struggles ensue, which lead to lower group performance and learning. Although individuals on teams report higher levels of job satisfaction than others, studies indicate that sometimes these higher levels also include absenteeism and turnover. For self-managing teams to be advantageous, a number of facilitating factors must be in place. In a cross-functional team, employees from different work areas come together to accomplish a task. Cross-functional teams are an effective means of allowing people from diverse areas within or even between organizations to exchange information, develop new ideas, solve problems, and coordinate complex projects. Due to the high need for coordination, cross-functional teams are not simple to manage. Power shifts occur when expertise is needed because the members are at roughly the same level in the organization. It takes time to build trust and teamwork, especially among people with different experiences and perspectives. The strength of traditional cross-functional teams is the collaborative effort of individuals with diverse skills from a variety of disciplines. When the unique perspectives of these members are considered, these teams can be very effective. Virtual teams use computer technology in order for dispersed members to achieve a common goal. They collaborate online using communication links like corporate social media, video conferencing, and email, whether members are nearby or countries apart. Nearly all teams do at least some of their work remotely. Because of the complexity of interactions, research indicates that shared leadership of virtual teams may significantly enhance team performance, although the concept is still in development. For virtual teams to be effective, management should ensure that trust is established among members, progress is monitored closely, and the efforts of the team are publicized throughout the organization. As virtual teams become the norm, managers should maintain an oversight role. As tasks become more complex, teams often grow in size. Increases in team size are accompanied by higher coordination demands. Multi-team systems are collections of two or more interdependent teams that share a superordinate goal. To picture a multi-team system, imagine the coordination of response needed after a major car accident. There is emergency medical services, an emergency room team, followed by a recovery team. Although they're technically independent, their activities are interdependent, and the success of one depends on the success of others. They all share the higher goal of saving lives. Some factors that make smaller, more traditional teams effective do not necessarily apply to multi-team systems and can even hinder their performance. One study showed that multi-team systems performed better when they had boundary spanners whose jobs were to coordinate with members of the other subteams. Research has also indicated that teams receiving more attention and engagement from the organization's leader felt more empowered, which made them more effective as they sought to solve their own problems. A multi-team system is best when teams with distinct functions need to be highly coordinated. Teams are often created deliberately, but sometimes evolve organically. Many people have tried to identify factors related to team effectiveness. To help, some studies have organized what was once a large list of characteristics into a relatively focused model. In considering the team effectiveness model, remember that teams differ in form and structure. The model attempts to generalize across all varieties of teams, but avoids rigidly applying its predictions on all teams. Second, the model assumes that teamwork is preferable to individual work. Creating effective teams when individuals can do the job better is like perfectly solving the wrong problem. We can organize the key components of effective teams into three general categories. First are the resources and other contextual influences that make teams effective. The second relates to the team's composition. Third, process variables are the events within the team that influence effectiveness. Teams are part of a larger system. Every work team relies on resources outside the group to sustain it. They need timely information, proper equipment, adequate staffing, encouragement, and administrative assistance. Racially diverse teams are less likely to be provided with the resources necessary for team performance. Teams can't function if they can't agree on who's to do what and ensure that all members share the workload. Leader personality, engagement, and leadership style also have an impact on team effectiveness. Leadership is especially important in multi-team systems. Here, leaders need to delegate responsibilities to teams and play the role of facilitator, making sure the teams work together. Trust is the foundation of leadership. It allows the team to accept and commit to the leader's goals and decisions. Members of effective teams exhibit trust in their leaders. They also trust one another. Interpersonal trust among team members facilitates cooperation, reduces the need to monitor each other's behavior, and bonds individuals through the belief that members won't take advantage of them. In addition to evaluating and rewarding employees for their individual contributions, management should utilize hybrid performance systems that incorporate a group reward to recognize positive team outcomes. Team appraisals, profit sharing, and small group incentives can reinforce team effort and commitment. Team composition categories include variables that relate to how teams should be staffed. As you can expect, opinions vary widely about the types of members leaders want on their teams, and some evidence suggests that composition may be more important at different stages of team development. A team's performance depends in part on the knowledge, skills, and abilities of individual members. Abilities set limits on what members can do and how effectively they will perform as part of a team. When solving a complex problem, high-ability teams, composed of mostly intelligent members, do better than low-ability teams. High ability teams are also more adaptable to changing environments. Smart team leaders help less intelligent team members when they struggle with a task. A less intelligent leader can, conversely, neutralize the effect of a high ability team. Personality significantly influences individual behavior. Conscientious people are good at backing up other team members and sensing when their support is truly needed. Team composition can be based on individual personalities to good effect. Task conflict enhances performance for teams with high levels of emotional stability. Open team members communicate better with one another and throw out more ideas, which makes teams composed of open people more creative and innovative. Teams have different needs, and members should be selected to ensure that all various roles are filled. Most experts agree that keeping teams small is key to improving group effectiveness. Not every employee is a team player. Given the option, many employees will select themselves out of team participation, so managers should consider individual preferences along with abilities, personalities, and skills. High performing teams are likely to be composed of people who prefer working as part of a group. Team effectiveness includes process variables like team goals, team identity, and team cohesion. Why are processes important to team effectiveness? Teams should create outputs greater than the sum of their inputs. Effective teams begin by analyzing the team's mission, developing goals to achieve that mission, and creating strategies for achieving the goals. Members of successful teams put tremendous amounts of time and effort into discussing, shaping, and sharing a purpose that belongs to them collectively and individually. Effective teams show reflexivity, meaning they reflect on and adjust their purpose when necessary. A team must have a good plan, but team members need to be willing and able to adapt when conditions call for it. Successful teams translate their common purpose into specific, measurable, and realistic performance goals. Specific goals facilitate clear communication. They help teams maintain their focus on getting results. Effective teams have confidence in themselves. They believe they can succeed. We call this team efficacy. Teams that have successful rise in their beliefs about future success, which in turn motivates them to work harder. Managers should pay special attention to fostering team identity in virtual teams. Team identity may be lower in virtual teams, which can lead to lower effort on part of virtual team members. The term team cohesion describes a situation in which members are emotionally attached to one another and motivated towards the team because of their attachment. Team cohesion is a useful tool to predict team outcomes. Some people already possess the interpersonal skills to be effective team players. When hiring team members, be sure candidates can fulfill their team roles as well as technical requirements. Creating teams often means resisting the urge to hire the best talent no matter what. Personal traits appear to make some people better candidates for working in diverse teams. Training specialists help employees to experience the satisfaction that teamwork can provide. Workshops help employees improve their problem solving, communication, negotiation, conflict management, and coaching skills. It takes time, but good team training has positive, tangible effects on performance. Teamwork takes more time and often more resources than individual work. Teams have increased communication demands, conflicts to manage, and meetings to run, so the benefits of using teams have to exceed the costs, and that's not always possible. There are 3 tests you can apply to help you know whether the work of your group would be better done in teams. First, can the work be done better by more than one person? Simple tasks that don't require diverse input are probably better left to individuals. Does the work create a common purpose or set of goals for the people in the group that is more than the aggregate of individual goals? Using teams makes sense when there's an interdependence among tasks. The success of the whole depends on the success of each one, and the success of each one depends on the success of the others. There are groups whose performance is aggregate summations of their individual performance.